My presentation this morning is a bit like my life. It's going to be in two parts. Hopefully you'll be able to identify some experiences of mine that are applicable to your company, to your own lives, in fact. Suddenly there's an eruption of machine gun fire and several loud explosions, and I hear them over to my left, and as I glance over quickly I see black smoke start to billow up above the tree line, turning grey. Almost immediately I hear over the radio in this earpiece, 0 Alpha, 20 Alpha, contact, casualties, I need a heli, I think I've lost my leg, over. And I could hear the screams of my soldiers in the background. Lance Corporal Dennis walks by me, and he stands on an improvised explosive device. BANG! It sends his body above tree height. It is found sometime later, 40 meters away, with both his legs and an arm blown off. The blast destroyed my tactical headquarters. The shockwave punctured both of my eardrums. Shrapnel smashed through the back of my skull, through my cerebellum, with tiny little pieces of shrapnel stopping a millimetre away from my brainstem. The force of the blast smashed my brain forwards into the confines of my skull, and I suffered severe internal bruising to this part of the brain. I was found over there, cradling my head with a radio antenna embedded in the back of my skull. I wasn't expected to survive, and I'm allowed home for the first time. I'm looking forward to this bottle of Sancerre, because I hadn't had a drink for a while, but hey, it's a celebration drink. I loved Sancerre. The wine was poured for me, and I took a sniff of this glass, not because I'm a connoisseur or anything like that, but just, whoa, I know, smell alcohol, it's beautiful. If you haven't smelt it, I know some of you have smelt it recently. I just sort of smell the Sancerre, this is beautiful. I took a sip, spat it out. Took another sip, spat it out. It was horrible. Primarily, the biggest obstacle and problem is to do with this right frontal lobe here that we've all got. Those pathways of mine are dead, and I struggle with that. So when it comes to planning stuff, it is exhausting for me. I also struggle with the speed of processing information. I get a phone call from Army Personnel Headquarters. Stewart, congratulations! You've been selected for promotion to Lieutenant Colonel. 16 years I've devoted. This is what people strive for when they're an officer in the army, to get that battalion command. 16 years, and it was there, which meant that for the next 16 and 20 years, I had realistic aspirations to make brigadier, if I was lucky, and sycophantic enough, maybe general. So they wanted to test, see what I was like. I was petrified, because I didn't know how to do this presentation. I didn't know where to start. That was the moment I knew my army career was over. That was the moment I had lost my identity, focused on everything that was wrong in my life, or what I perceived was wrong in my life, focused on the negative thoughts. So these thoughts are just sort of drip, drip, dripping on your brain. It's a bit like a Japanese water torture technique, but I'm the one holding the bottle. I used to love painting when I was at school. I got an A grade for O-level art. O-levels, that's when they were exams, not these GCSEs. Those 3 hours just went. I was lost. I was lost in the moment. And for me, that was the first time, really, for a sustained period of time, I hadn't dwelt on negative thoughts and negativity in my life. I had found my identity. 2009, I'm at the pinnacle, I'm at the best level I can be. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to fight, and then I'm going to command my battalion. My whole life was structured before me. I knew what I had to achieve at all these different levels. The army was my priority. Family was secondary. Now, I'm an artist. I've written some poetry. I've even done contemporary dance in an exhibition. My life is so completely different. Our imagination is limitless. What we can do is limitless. I don't ever want to change my life. Values should be aligned with your product, should be aligned with you as an individual. What have I just been doing for the last 16 years? It affected my self-esteem, my confidence. I just thought I was worthless. They didn't have the loyalty to me. They didn't have the integrity to actually come and visit me. They didn't have the respect towards me and many other injured service personnel. They didn't have the courage to admit their mistakes when I challenged them with an official service complaint. Trust is so important, whether it's at individual, society or organisational level. You can do so much more with trust. Greater productivity is going to be cheaper, things less bureaucracy. If there's mistrust, it's corrosive. Teamwork. Those projects I was involved in with the arts, with theatre, whatever, that was the epitome of teamwork. We're a disparate bunch of different people, always brought in, never met each other each time, to do a project, to have this one goal, to do whatever it was. When we came in, we were eclectic, we had our strengths and weaknesses which we recognised and accepted in people. We're so tolerant of each other's difficulties, each other's weaknesses. It's very easy actually when you do a self-analysis, when you've suffered unfortunately, to actually identify what you think your weaknesses are. And we were happy to say, actually I'm not good at that, I'm not good at that, I'm good at this though. And we moulded and we encouraged each other and we provided constructive criticism for each other, but we were compassionate to each other. With this one goal, every project was a success. It was the epitome of what teamwork is all about. The mind is the most powerful tool in the world. The quality of our lives is determined by the quality of our thinking. How we think about life. Life. What is the meaning of life? This is not some grandiose idea, what is the meaning of life? But it's actually about what is our purpose every day. What gets us out of bed? What drives us forward? What keeps us motivated? Essentially, it's about love and belonging. Well, that, in my mind, is how you add value.
I think Stewart Hill takes you on a journey and he talks about change. In his case, catastrophic change, and how he's dragged himself out of the pit of despair and really completely reinvigorated himself, his life, and that's a hugely important lesson for businesses. Businesses go through change cycles, and that speech by Stewart really sort of captured for me the essence of change. It comes unexpectedly, it's painful, but actually there is an opportunity on the other side of doing something completely different and reimagining where that business could be. So that's why I think he adds value. It's hugely impactful because he lulls you into this false sense of security with the way that he sort of gently takes you through and paints the picture of Afghanistan and Helmand and what it looks like and what it feels like, and then he brings in what it feels like by the way he will go bang, and he absolutely wakes the audience up, and then he just takes you through the sheer terror of what happened to him, and it's a very, very visceral image that he creates in your mind, it's super. I think storytelling and being able to tell the story of your brand, your product to the customer is really important. And I think our sales team will take away from that, how can I use language, paint pictures in my customer's mind that mean that they will want to buy our products.
So for me, For our conference this year, one of the running themes for it was around change and responding to change and being adaptable to change in a marketplace that for us at the moment is extremely fluid. And obviously Stewart's experiences that happened to him, unfortunately, has meant that he has had to change. He has had to adapt and he's had to adjust and find a new life for himself and his family following on from his accident in Afghanistan. And the compelling way in which Stewart told his story to the people in the room, I think, has given them some insight into, you know what, even the longest of toothed among us can look to change, and Stewart was incredibly motivational for the people in the room. So the other kind of issue for us at the moment is around how we convey our brand and our brand message into the marketplace, and the value of a compelling story told in a truthful and meaningful way is something that I really wanted to engage our sales force with, so that when they come out onto the marketplace and they're talking to our customers on a day-to-day basis, they can tell the compelling truth of polypipe in a meaningful and real way. And definitely I think Stewart has helped to land that, and also importantly to help people understand how cognitively we respond to certain decision-making situations and how the brain works when we're thinking about how we deal with customer interactions, how we deal with ourselves internally and how we communicate with one another, and just help us think a little bit about where those responses and those initial reactions might be coming from.